Welcome back. All right, so 6 games in the NHL tonight. There are 6 tomorrow at this moment, but I'm not doing the preview tonight because I don't know if we're going to get all 6 tomorrow. It may end up being 5. The Maple Leafs, it appears, might be the next team that ends up being paused. No idea. People want to shoot the messenger. I just report on all this. I have no say in any of it. Gary doesn't call me anymore. He's not calling me on the bet phone anymore. It's a shame. All right, we'll start off with Vegas and the New York Rangers. The Vegas Golden Knights are playing some really good hockey, and they're honestly probably playing some of the best hockey in the National Hockey League right now. And the Rangers saw it tonight. So it's Brossoit versus Georgiev. Vegas had the early jump. Kakko with a rush chance. He fires that wide. The shots are 3-2 for Vegas at 5 minutes. Georgiev was sharp early. The Rangers pressed 6 minutes into it, and then the puck goes the other way. And on his own rebound, Howden, a former member of the New York Rangers, scores from Carrier and Colasar at 6:49. Vegas then gets a power play. There was a shorthanded chance for Kreider, and that kills some time, and they would actually kill off that penalty. Carrier then with a rush chance, that saved. Pressed by the Rangers with 3.5 minutes left. And in the closing seconds, Hunt with an opportunity, and the save is made by Brossoit. So we go to the second period with it 1-0 Vegas. Not for long. 17 seconds in, Zibanejad scores a very Ovechkin-like goal from Kreider and Keandre Miller. So that ties it up. Rangers then press for the lead. Kreider with a net drive and a near miss there for him. Rangers then get a power play. Kreider didn't miss there. He scores the power play marker from Zibanejad and Strome at 10:25. So the Rangers then go back to the power play. The Rangers are now in control. They're up 2-1. Vegas did kill that off. They allowed 2 shots. Pietrangelo has a rush chance. That's blocked. The Rangers are controlling. They press after that. McNabb has a chance that's saved. And in the closing seconds, Vegas has a good chance that it just goes wide. So we go to the third period. The Rangers up 2-1. Coughlin has a shot. Good arm save there by Georgiev. Vegas would press at 3.5 minutes. Shots are scarce. Both defenses doing a pretty good job of holding the other team off the board. Rangers press at 9.5 minutes, but they don't get shots. The shots are 2-1 for Vegas for quite a while in that third period. I'm going to say for at least 5 or 6 minutes. Vegas then pushes with 6 minutes left, and they score. It's Coughlin from Haig and Howden at 14:44, and from there the momentum's with Vegas. Not that there were a lot of shots. That would have been the third shot. I think they had 1 shot after that. So we go to overtime. Pacioretty's denied twice during the overtime. Or no, they had. I'm looking at the wrong period. They did have more shots than just the 4. It's the overtime where they had 4. So it's back and forth chances. Kreider has a shot saved. Hedl with a break. Brossoit with the save. Pacioretty has a break. Fires wide. Nothing happens in the overtime other than 11 shots. So there was an article I read about how overtime's boring today, and then that happened. So thanks. Much like when I do a video on a team, things can go the other way around. Sometimes articles are wrong. So we go to a shootout. Marchessault ends up scoring the winner. It's the only goal of the shootout. Vegas goes to 19-11 with a 3-2 shootout victory. The Rangers 19-7-4. So the first period, the shots are 12-9 Vegas. Second period, 11-4 for the Rangers. In the third period, Vegas outshot the Rangers 10-2. So the Rangers were back way too much in that period. And in the overtime, the shots are 7-4. 11 shots in the overtime. 7 of them for the Rangers. So there were 12 shots in the third period and then 11 shots in the overtime. Very exciting overtime. Final shots 30-29 for Vegas. Power plays, Vegas 0 for 1. Rangers 1 for 2. The hits were 23-12 for the Rangers. Brossoit saves 27 out of 29. Georgiev saves 28 out of 30. And so Vegas, they get 2 more points, and they continue that climb to the top of the division. And we're all going to act surprised when they get there, right? Okay, next up. Pittsburgh. Buffalo's become pretty good at being a trap game. And if you don't, take them seriously, they can beat you, as they did with Minnesota last night. And considering they played last night and how tough an opponent they had, they played pretty well tonight. They didn't to start. So Subban versus Jarry is your matchup. Simone has a chance to save. The Penguins press at 3.5 minutes. They didn't get shots out of that, though. Power play then for the Penguins. They did score on this. Evan Rodriguez, his 10th goal of the season, passing his career high. More goals for Rodriguez right now than he had in his best season, which was in, I believe, Buffalo a few years ago with 9 goals. Letang and Crosby, The assists at 5:53, and so it's 1-0 Pittsburgh. 7 minutes into the period, the shots are 9-1 in favor of Pittsburgh. So, yeah, 7 minutes in, and Sabres are being outshot, outchanced. It's just ridiculous. There were 7 chances for the Penguins, none for the Sabres. So, Subban's under siege. Penguins press with 8.5 minutes left. It's all Penguins. O'Connor had a rush chance saved. We then get Thompson versus Aston Reese. Thompson gets the extra 2. The Penguins go to the power play. Kapanen fires one high. That's killed off. Then the behind-the-back save by Subban. I would try to show you what he did, but I'd have to pop my shoulder out of the socket. Basically, the puck's going behind him, and he takes his glove, left hand, and he just catches it. So not only did he pop his shoulder out of the socket to make the save, but he has to have eyes actually in the back of his head, or he has a camera back here to see where the puck was, because it was ridiculous. And they reviewed it. Now, there's 2 things. One, they claimed they reviewed it to see whether or not it crossed the line. I think they just wanted to see what happened. I think this was just the referees going, did you see that? Let's go watch. Let's go watch. We'll just tell people we're reviewing to see if the puck went in the net. Let's go watch what happened. So it's a fantastic save by him, and it keeps it from being 2-0 because the review is not conclusive across the line, because I don't think it did. Power play for the Sabres, that's killed off. We go to the second period. Subban denies Blueger as they pick up right where they left off. The Penguins had control, but Fitzgerald has a fight with Lafferty. Casey Fitzgerald making his debut with dad Tom Fitzgerald in attendance. Penguins get a power play. Zucker fires one high and wide. It's dangerous, but the Sabres kill it. But after that's done, McGinn makes it 2-0 from Matheson and Blueger at 6:45. Penguins then press for another. Jarry robs Hayden of a sure goal. And then Gergensons scores from Fitzgerald at 12:35. So in his first game in the NHL, Fitzgerald has a fight and he has an assist. So at this point, he's 1 goal short of a Gordie Howe hat trick. So that might be the toughest part, right, is the goal. A fight's pretty easy. The assist, it can be easy, and then the goal can be difficult. Penguins try to answer. Things get scrappy at the Penguins' net. Emotions are getting higher. Late power play then for the Sabres. It becomes a 4-on-4. Third period, Penguins with an early edge. They're only up by 1, though. Kapanen's robbed by Subban. The shots are 6-2 for the Penguins at 9 minutes. It's all Pittsburgh after a relatively even second period. Zucker with a net drive. Subban covers. And then Dahlin. Dahlin scores from Asplund and Okposo at 14:42. It's a tie game. And I didn't see that one coming. Rodriguez then has a chance that goes wide. And at this point, as the game's ticking down, I'm like, goaltenders for Buffalo, between Luukkonen and Subban, they're costing Buffalo a really good chance to draft Shane Wright, at least to win the lottery, because if Buffalo keeps putting up points, they're going to pass some teams. So 4.6 seconds left, the Sabres get a power play. That rolls over into overtime, so they've already pocketed a point. Sabres control on the faceoff. Blueger clears one out for a line change. Marino clears next, and then he cleared it again. It's all killed off. And then Carter scores from Letang at 2:53 on a 2-on-1. Pittsburgh survives the scare. They win 3-2 in overtime. They go to 16-8-5 with the win. Buffalo drops to 10-15-5. But again, they have 25 points. They're ahead of some teams. This was the year they were supposed to be in the running for Shane Wright. Maybe they end up winning the lottery anyways. It's bizarre to me that they're getting so many points right now. So the shots are 21-5 Pittsburgh in the first. That's the most shots Pittsburgh's had in a period all season. Both teams had 10 shots in the second. The shots are 15-5 Pittsburgh in the third and 2-1 Pittsburgh in overtime. Final shots 48-21 for Pittsburgh. Wow. Power plays. Buffalo 0 for 3. Pittsburgh 1 for 4. The hits were 32-28 for Buffalo. Subban saves 45 out of 48 shots. Jarry saves 19 out of 21. He had a relatively quiet night and had to be a little bit nervous going into overtime because, quiet night or not, they could have lost it. They didn't, so Buffalo gets the point. They had to feel pretty good about the point, but Pittsburgh has to feel relieved that they got the 2 points out of this, right? All right, next up, St. Louis. So, right, I said in the preview this morning, I kind of knew this was coming with Dallas now, where Vancouver was a couple weeks ago, where whatever team beats them, well, I guess I'm wearing that jersey for the review tonight then, so here we are with St. Louis. I am wearing the Torrey Krug, though, because Torrey Krug. It's Holtby versus Lindgren. Is Lindgren like a folk hero yet in St. Louis? Is anybody writing like Don McLean type songs about him, like some kind of an American Pie thing about Charlie Lindgren and the very winding road he took to the NHL? Because he's become a great story. So at 36 seconds, the Blues get a power play. The Stars did kill it off. Hakanpää's a drive that saved. Falk had a blast that goes wide as the Blues press. Both defenses holding pretty firm thus far. The shots were 5-3 for Dallas with 9 minutes left. I don't know how many of those shots were dangerous, but it didn't feel like a lot of them were. Stars are aiming high on Lindgren. Doesn't matter. It's one of those things where when it's like, oh, they're all aiming in the same spot, and then you look at the goals at the end of the night and you go, how'd that work out for you? So Scandella has a slapper that saved. The Blues press with 3.5 minutes left. Klingberg has a drive to the net. He can't bury it. It's scoreless after 1. Second period. Stars press at 2 minutes. Radulov with a chance that's blocked. And then it's Logan Brown continues his run with a goal from Parayko and O'Reilly at 3:35. And after that, the Blues had the edge. They absolutely did. The Stars would get a power play. There was a shorthanded chance for Bozak. St. Louis does kill it off. Saad with a rush chance that saved. The Blues had a 4-on-2 shortly thereafter that fizzled out. Stars get another power play. That was a no. And in the final 11 seconds of the period at 19:49, Tarasenko makes it 2-0 from Buchnevich and Barbashev. Again, they get paid by the letter in St. Louis. So it's 2-0 after 2. Third period. Faksa is denied very early. And then Buchnevich had a rush chance that was saved. Sagan is snakebit. Sagan has... coming into tonight, I think they said he had 2 goals and 1 assist in his last 13 games. We'll make it 14. Power play for the Stars, a shorthanded break for Buchnevich, and he draws a penalty shot out of it. On the penalty shot, Holtby outweighted him. It was a nice play by Holtby, just outweighed him, give him nothing to shoot at, and so it's fired wide. So the power play then is killed off. The Blues get chances after. So bodies are flying around, just guys shoving each other down. No penalties out of it. The fans wanted penalties, but it was fine. Everybody's shoving everybody, so whatever. 2 wrongs make a right. Shots are 7-3 Blues with 9.5 minutes left, but Dallas shows a little bit of fight here. It's Robertson from Klingberg and Pavelski at 12 minutes and 11 seconds. And then the Stars are pressing, seeking the tie. So what do? They have to take a penalty. 5:35 left. The Blues get a power play, and they score on it. So Dallas shooting themselves in the foot. It's a tradition. Tarasenko scores it from Buchnevich and Krug at 15:37. So that makes it 3-1. They pulled the goaltender with more than 3 minutes left because, sure, why not? Barbashev scores the empty netter at 17:17. And your final score is 4-1 in favor of St. Louis. They go to 17-8-5 with the win. The Stars drop to 13-12-2. So it's a long losing streak for Dallas. Do I have to do another Dallas video on their losing streak? Do I have to? Because we're here. And it's funny because they went on the winning streak and people were like, oh, this didn't age well. Well, give it some time. Sometimes teams come back to earth, as Dallas has done, below the playoff line and all that. So shots in this one, 9-6 St. Louis in the first, 12-9 St. Louis in the second, 13-12 St. Louis in the third. Final shots, 34-27 for the Blues. Power plays, Dallas 0-3, St. Louis 1-2. Hits, 38-23 for St. Louis. Holtby saves 30 out of 33. Lindgren saves 26 out of 27, and he was excellent. Keep shooting high, guys. He saves those. So, or they go over the net. Either way. All right, moving along. Washington. So the Capitals in Winnipeg tonight. Winnipeg, they're really kind of on the precipice. So Paul Maurice steps aside, and there's a lot of discussion about why. And I really think it was just he knew it was time. I really do, and I think there's a lot of speculation about what other reasons he might have had. I think he was like, when your heart's just not in it anymore. I know I've had jobs where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I think I'm done. Yeah, I think I'm done, and then I find something else. Not going to happen here, though. I like this one. But, yeah, I get the feeling with Maurice. It was just, I'm done. That's just the whole vibe going on with him. So it's Vanacek versus Hellebuyck in this one. Early jump for the Jets. The Caps get a power play. It's unsuccessful. Oshie had a blast chance that wouldn't go. Eller to Ovechkin, close call. Doesn't go in the net there. Shots are 7-3 for the Caps at the half. Caps are pushing the play. They press again at 12 minutes. Connor had a chance that was blocked. The Jets would pressure after that. Caps get a late power play. Ovechkin ends up hitting the crossbar, and it goes out. Tony Nato in the last seconds had a chance that was saved. So we go to the second period with this one scoreless, much like this one here. And much like this one here, in the 3 to 4 minute range, we get the first goal of the game. It's Leeson from Scarbosa and Irwin at 3:11. So it's 1-0 for the Caps. Now the shots are 4 apiece at 5 minutes. There were some good opportunities for both teams. Winnipeg was doing really well. They would get a power play. Connor fires one wide. Good cycle. It's killed off. There were 3 shots. The Jets pressed after. And then Sprong scores from Protas at 8:43. Or as was pronounced tonight on the TSN broadcast, Protas. I'm like, it's Protas. Hey, see? And I know, because people do that in the comments about the way I pronounce it. I do the same thing. I'm watching, I'm like, no, that's not it. So, Jets then tried to answer. Mallenstein had a shot that was blocked. The Jets get a power play. That was unsuccessful. But then Dillon gets his first of the year from Ehlers at 14:32. After that, Ehlers had a tip on a rush chance. That goes wide. Momentum's with the Jets. Svechnikov has a shot that's saved. But it's 2-1 in favor of the Capitals after 2 periods. Will the momentum carry over into the third? It kind of does. Third period, Sprong's denied in the first minute. The Jets get a power play. They had a lot of trouble setting it up, but they do get a power play goal out of it. Morrissey scores from Ehlers and Schmidt at 2:28. So Ehlers with a couple of helpers. Scheifele then nearly puts them in the lead. Very, very close. Highlight reel saves by Vanacek at this point. He was fantastic in this game. Ovechkin can't bury one. Kopp gets a chance. Orlov defends on that, makes sure he can't get the shot off. And then Vanacek covers shortly thereafter when they did get a shot out of it. Sherry would break the tie from Schultz and Cholowski at 9:09. Puts them ahead. And then Pionk has a chance. That's saved. Stanley fires one wide. The Jets were pressuring. They would pull the goaltender. That allows the empty net goals. First, it's Scarbosa from Leeson and Jensen at 17:20. And then the second empty net goal number 752 for Ovechkin. He's less than 50 away from Gordie Howe now. He scores from Sprong and Carlson at 19:09. And yet there's still people who are saying, well, he might catch Howe. That's still a might. It's only 49 away. So the Capitals win this one 5-2. The score ends up being a little more lopsided than it should have been, but still. The Caps were the better team overall. 18-5-7. The Jets dropped to 13-11-5. And again, you know, it's tough because you can see other teams in the division really picking it up. And the Jets are in danger of falling further and further behind. So the shots in this one, 14-8, Washington in the first, 20-9, Winnipeg in the second. Great second period for Winnipeg and for Vitek Vanacek. Shots in the third are 16-14, Washington. Final shots, 42-39 for the Jets. Power plays 0-2 for Washington. 1-3 for Winnipeg. Hits, 26-16 for Winnipeg. Vanacek saves 40 out of 42. Hellebuck saves 34 out of 37. And that was the game. All right, now I need to change boards. Nashville. So, how many people watched the video I did on Nashville, shook their fist at their camera, or their phone, or their computer, or their TV, and said, dag nabbit, Shannon just jinxed my team. No, I didn't. I don't have powers. So, it's Saros versus Fleury in this one. I kind of expected Riddick in this, but it's Saros. Post for Sissons, early chances for the Predators. They would press at 9 minutes as well, but the shots are 3-3 at the half, so it's a slow start shot-wise. Power play then for Nashville, and they score on it. It's Novak from Carrier and Cunnin at 11:56. To their credit, Chicago answers not long after. It's Kirby Dach, who's had a rough start to the season. He scores his fifth from Entwistle and Kubalik at 13:57. Preds go back to the power play, and near the end of it, Yossi can't quite bury one. So we end up going to the second period tied at 1. The Hawks finish off the kill. Power play then for the Hawks. DeBrincat has a shot that's blocked. That's killed off. Hawks go back to the power play. Becomes a 4-on-4. Jeannot was denied. Things get scrummy after that. Shots are 7-4 for the Preds at 8.5 minutes. Motion's pretty high. Predators controlling the game at this stage. Then there's a press by the Hawks. Predators doing a good job with some shot blocking. Fleury's the reason this thing's tied. The shots with 7 minutes left were 14-4 in favor of Nashville. Hawks get a power play. That was a no. Not enough zone time or shots for the Hawks in that period. Third period. Early chance for Connor Murphy won't go. Pressed by the Predators at 5 minutes. Better start for the Hawks, though. The second period was tough, but the first and third periods, they had good starts. Then we get a power play for Nashville. Forsberg saved. His next opportunity was blocked. Aggressive penalty kill, and it kills it off. Then we get a delay of game call that puts the Predators right back on the power play. They score on that one. It's Sissons from Forsberg and Tolvin at 11:33. So that's the second power play goal for Nashville, which I mentioned in the video today is a reason that Nashville is doing as well as they are. Their power play suddenly exists. It was almost saved too, that Sissons shot. Fleury almost had it, but it goes in. And then Taves answers from Stillman at 13:55. Fantastic pass by Stillman. And an easy goal for Taves, who now has, 3 goals in his last 4 games? Something like that. So Taves is getting it going, and it ties up the game. With 2:56 left, the Hawks get a power play. We get a shorthanded rush for Trennan, and the Preds did kill it off. And then they waited for overtime. Overtime, Preds control on the faceoff, and at 57 seconds on a 2-on-1, it's Jeannot from Yossi, and they put it in the net. Nashville wins 3-2 in overtime. They go to 19-10-1. This is the 4th time in the team's history they've gone to 7 wins in a row. Their record is 10. The Chicago Blackhawks go to 11-15-3 with the overtime loss. Your shots are 9-6 Nashville in the first, 15-6 Nashville in the second, 7-6 Chicago in the third. Nashville has the only shot of overtime. Final shots 31-19 for Nashville. Power plays 2 for 5 for the Preds, 0 for 5 for Chicago. That's your storyline for Chicago. Hits are 36-33 for Nashville. Saros saves 17 out of 19. Fleury saves 28 out of 31. And that would be the game. So Fleury's pretty expressive too when he allows a goal that he thinks he should have had. I've mentioned that in recent reviews, but it's impressive to me because at this point, I don't know, you don't expect that a goalie would be as upset because Chicago's not really in the hunt, but it's the same no matter what's going on. Kind of reminds me of Ryan Miller. It didn't matter what was going on with Miller. All right. Arizona. So, I thought about wearing a Coyotes jersey for the review, but again, if a team beats Dallas, I wear their jersey. So, next Dallas game, we'll see what I'm wearing. So, it's Wedgwood versus Gibson in this. I thought Gibson had one of the poorest games I've ever seen him have tonight. I'm being honest. O'Brien versus Delorier happens at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Anaheim was already up 3-0 in shots. We get a fight. But then on the first shot, it goes in. It's Boyd from Kessel, not Boyd versus Kessel. Kessel's not a fighter, especially with a teammate. So Boyd gets the goal from Kessel at 2:46. Travis Boyd's off to an incredible start to the season. And that one's scored on a rush. Ducks then get a power play, and they score on it. It's Shattenkirk from Fowler and Terry at 5:47. Less than a minute later, Hampus Lindholm adds another from Lundestrom and Raquel at 6:44. The Ducks press for another. Net's open for business. Grant scores from Silverberg and Lundestrom at 8:41. It's 3-1. 3-1 Ducks. We're not even 10 minutes into the game. And all I could think was, I'm really glad I've got all kinds of columns because it looks like Anaheim could run up the score and this could be an embarrassment. Ducks wanted more. Still, 1 shot for the Coyotes to this point in the game. 1 in the first half of that period. We then get Larson versus Carrick in a fight. The Coyotes come out of that with a power play, and they score on it. Fisher scores from Hayden and Schmaltz at 15:12. With 21.1 seconds left, the Ducks get a power play. It goes over into the second period. I would love to tell you how the rest of that penalty kill went. I can only assume there was like robots and grizzly bears and Sasquatches because the ESPN Plus feed was down. That reminds me, if we go without hockey, I'm considering putting together reviews of games that haven't happened and putting stuff like robots and stuff like that in it. Say it's a review from the future. So, just a spoiler alert, that could absolutely happen. So, yeah, the ESPN Plus feed goes down. All I can think is there are people right now who are very angry that they've subscribed for ESPN Plus and the feed's down. And there's a screen saying, please bear with us and thanks for your patience. It just felt very 80s. You know, it felt very 80s for the feed to go down like that. So the Coyotes finished off the kill. I can't see it. Wrote it right there. I can't see it, but the kill's over. I even tried on my phone, and my phone was like, nah, it's not there. So Silverberg was denied. Coyotes get a power play. The feed did come back. Shorthanded 2-on-1. Getzlaf nearly scores. The Ducks did kill it off. With 9.5 minutes left, the shots are 5-5. Coyotes are making a game of this. And you know, I'm thinking, well, but Gibson will get it together. It'll work out for him. So power play for the Coyotes couldn't set up. Hayden has a chance to save. The Coyotes were pressing after that. Comtois and O'Brien are unfriendly. Arizona gets a power play out of it. So O'Brien throws a hit on the board. Comtois didn't like it, so he kind of roughs up O'Brien, takes the penalty. Fisher can't bury one. It's killed off. But then in the final minute of the period, on a breakaway, after a Wedgwood save, Keller scores from Gostisbehere at 1926. Wedgwood doesn't come out of tonight with a lot of saves when you look at his save percentage, but he made saves at key times. And it really feels 80s saying that too. So this was the 80s game. Third period, because that's always been the thing with Fir. They'd say, well, with Fir, you get that fourth goal by him, but you wouldn't get the fifth. Okay, so third period, Milano's shot is saved. Kessel with a break on a turnover. He can't bury it. The Ducks press. They draw a power play. But before the power play actually happens, during the delay, Zegras scores from Drysdale and Lindholm at 2:07. So it's not technically a power play goal. It's a 6-on-5, though. And then there is a power play called because there were 7 Coyotes on the ice. The funny thing is that the announcers are like, oh, that's too many Ducks on the ice. And I'm counting white jerseys and going, nope, no. And you can even see a member of the Ducks doing this. So yeah, there were 7. I counted 7. There were 6 that were in the play and a 7th rushing off the ice. So you can't have 7. You know, well, it says here in the rule book, if we have 6 guys on the ice, that's too many men on the ice penalty. Let's go with 7, because, yeah, let's do that. All right, so Getzlaf has a chance to save. That was killed off. So the Ducks get that power play. It doesn't go anywhere. Ducks go right back to the power play, though. We get a short-handed chance for Keller that was defended. That power play is killed off. Wedgwood's the one keeping it a 1-goal game. And then Ladd scores after 3 big saves by Wedgwood. Like I said, he made the saves at the right time. So Ladd scores from Boyd and Labushkin at 8:35. Then on the power on the shift after that, Kessel hits a post, and then he hits the net. The next opportunity he gets on a great pass from Boyd. Strollman with the shot to Boyd, and at 9:41, it's a lead for the Arizona Coyotes. It's the second time this year they've scored 5 goals. So for the Ducks and their defense and all the improvements, this one smarted tonight. Absolutely did. Momentum's with the Coyotes, but with 7:53 left, the Ducks get a power play, and they score on it. Much like Dallas against St. Louis, right? Well, we got the momentum. Quick, take a penalty. Lindholm scores from Zegras and Getzlaf at 13 minutes and 10 seconds. The Ducks press with 3 minutes left, but we go to overtime. And I could see this was going to overtime. I was surprised it didn't actually go to a shootout. So in overtime, the Coyotes control early. Zegras had a chance on a turnover. Wedgwood saves there. Again, it's one of those key saves. Keller's denied. Fowler ends up hitting a post. And then Keller wasn't denied the next time down the ice. He gets a goal at 2:09 from Schmaltz. And the Coyotes win on the road 6-5 in overtime over the Ducks. So for Arizona, they have 6 wins now. 6. Be walking around with their shoulders up a little bit more. You know, we got 6 wins now. 6-21-2 is their record, and for Anaheim, 17-9-6. The shots 11-5 Anaheim in the first, 13-6 Arizona in the second, 19-6 Anaheim in the third. In the overtime, the shots were 3-1 for Arizona. Final shots 37-27 for the Ducks. Power plays 1-for-4 for Arizona, 2-for-5 for Anaheim. Hits were 22-20 for Anaheim. Wedgwood saves 32 out of 37. Not his best night, but better than Gibson. Gibson saves 21 out of 27. That's a rough start for John Gibson. It's his first game back. Maybe he's still working out the kinks, and what we saw here tonight was a lot of kinks. And, yeah, so we'll see if Gibson gets it back in the next game, or if Stolarz ends up getting some more starts pretty soon here. But nice win for the Arizona Coyotes tonight, so good for them. 6 wins now, so no more worries about them setting all-time records for futility at all. So do they catch up and pass other teams? That's the question. All right, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. We'll see how many games we have tomorrow. I'm kind of having fun with it, because what else am I going to do? I'm kind of having fun with the whole thing. I'm not freaking out over any of it. I'm like, whatever games we get, we get. Whatever they do, they do. I have no control over it. Wish I did, but I don't. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. It means a lot. If you haven't already hit like and subscribe, it's greatly appreciated. The channel's very close to 227,000 subscribers, which is fantastic. And the entertainment guy is close to 19,000 subscribers. So my second channel's close to 19,000, which is about right. The ratio's right about where that goes. Yeah, that's about right. All right. But I did do notes in point form about the Flash the other day, and I did the video on that channel. So see, I take notes even watching TV because I am a giant nerd. All right. Thanks again for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.